Welcome back to another Forge College Explainer. We're currently making our way through Module 3 of Introduction to Solidity and Basic Syntax. And today, we've got a seriously baffling case on our hands. We're going to solve the ultimate Web3 developer mystery, the case of the missing event. That's right, grab your magnifying glasses and your best detective hats, because we're going full investigator mode for this one.
Picture this scenario. You just learned exactly how to emit and listen to events back in our previous lesson on understanding and debugging lifetimes. You're feeling pretty confident, right? But then, the unthinkable happens. You click a button on your shiny new decentralized app, the transaction confirms on the blockchain, you even pay the gas, but your front end, it stays completely, agonizingly silent. So where did your event actually go? Did it just get lost in the ether? Pun definitely intended, by the way. To crack this case, we've laid out a solid investigation plan. We'll start by mapping out the crime scene matrix, and then we're bringing in our four main suspects. We've got the silent contract, the bad filter, the ABI decoder ring, and finally, the matrix glitch. After we interrogate them all, we'll wrap up and officially close the case. Let's dive in. Okay, kicking things off with Section 1, the crime scene matrix. Every good detective absolutely needs a reliable way to map out the symptoms of a crime scene to the most probable causes. Because, let's be real, you can't just start randomly changing code and hoping for the best. That is literally the developer equivalent of tampering with evidence. We need a systematic, logical approach to narrow down our suspect list. And this brings us to our detective's cheat sheet. This matrix shows you exactly which diagnostic check you need to run based on whatever weird symptom you're seeing. For instance, if your event is just completely missing in action, your root cause is likely either a contract failure or a bad filter. Now, if your listener actually catches the event but the parameters are returning null, you almost certainly have an ABI mismatch. And if your event is arriving twice, kind of like a ghost in the machine, well, you're dealing with reorganizations. You'll definitely want to keep this cheat sheet handy in your developer toolkit. All right, moving to Section 2. Let's bring in suspect number 1, the silent contract. Look, sometimes when the blockchain goes quiet, it's simply because the smart contract itself just forgot to speak up. It happens to the absolute best of us. Let's examine the evidence. The most crucial first step here is figuring out whether the failure happened directly on-chain or if it happened off-chain inside your local listening script. On one side, we have on-chain issues. This could be a transaction reverting entirely, or maybe literally just forgot to write the emit keyword inside a specific if statement branch. Whoops. On the flip side, we have off-chain issues, like a tiny typo in your JavaScript filter. Identifying this split right out of the gate is going to save you hours of chasing your own tail. So how exactly do we prove where the failure happened? It's simple. Always check the transaction receipt first. Think of this receipt as your irrefutable security camera footage, because if you look at the receipt and there are 0 logs there, well, your contract never actually emitted the event, or the transaction reverted. Boom. Suspect 1 is guilty. But if the logs.length is greater than 0, congratulations, the event actually was successfully emitted on-chain. Suspect 1 is totally cleared. But wait, what if the receipt actually shows the log exists? The security camera shows the event leaving the contract, but it somehow never arrived at your app. That brings us right to Section 3, and Suspect 2, the bad filter. This happens when a bad off-chain filter is just silently dropping our properly emitted events. To really understand why a filter goes bad, we've got to talk about topics. Just remember that indexed parameters in your events act as encoded fingerprints. These are what we call topics, rather than just plain human-readable text fields. So when you index a parameter in Solidity, you're actually telling the node to create a highly optimized cryptographic hash, basically a unique fingerprint, so it can be searched incredibly fast. Once you know that, it's pretty easy to spot common filter fails. Say you pass an actor to your listener as a standard JavaScript number instead of a properly formatted address. Or maybe you totally mess up your hex zero-pad formatting. Or, you supply variables to the completely wrong topic positions. If you do any of that, your filter is just going to silently drop the event without giving you a single error message. Nope, it just assumes, hey, this isn't the fingerprint I'm looking for, and moves on. Now let's head into Section 4 and interrogate Suspect 3, the ABI decoder ring. We need to see how this all builds into the decoding process. The suspect is usually the culprit when the event is actually caught by your listener, but the data inside it looks like absolute garbage. So what causes this garbage data? It almost always comes down to translation errors or ABI mismatches. If your listener catches the event but spits out null or just wildly incorrect values, your off-chain ABI decoder ring is out of sync with your contract. This is super likely to happen if you accidentally swapped the parameter order in your front-end code. Or maybe you use the wrong numeric width, like typing uint 128 instead of uint 256. Or, honestly, the most classic mistake of all, you simply forgot to update your compiled ABIs in the listener script after you made a change to your Solidity contract. We have all been there.
All right, moving into section 5, let's talk about suspect 4, the matrix glitch. We need to deal with this bizarre, frankly, mind-bending scenario where your perfectly fine events either appear twice or they show up completely out of order.
This weird phenomenon is known as a reorg, or block reorganization. Honestly, a reorg is like a parallel timeline briefly collapsing into ours. Wild, right? It happens when the blockchain history slightly shifts to a longer chain, and this little shift can trick your listener into processing the exact same event multiple times. Or worse, processing an event that ultimately gets rolled back entirely if you aren't careful. So, how do we protect your application against these matrix glitches? You need a simple but bulletproof strategy. First, wait for a specific confirmation depth. Seriously, don't just react to the very first block you see. Second, implement a deduplication strategy using the transaction hash and the log index as unique composite key. And finally, once the event is safely validated and deduplicated, you can confidently process it. And that brings us to section 6, closing the case. With all of our suspects successfully interrogated and those sneaky common pitfalls identified, it's finally time to compile our findings and write up the debug report. Your final task in this module is to produce a detailed debug report, documenting your fixes. A proper professional report needs a few things: a really concise problem statement, the exact code fixes you applied, your console logs acting as hard evidence, and a solid record of the technical trade-offs you had to make. Doing this perfectly bridges the gap to our next lesson on synthesizing event-driven design patterns, because you're going to rely heavily on these robust reports to design your future architecture. Well, that wraps up the investigation. Thank you for watching this Forge College Explainer. Be sure to head over to forge.college to master even more Web3 topics and really dive deeper into this curriculum. But before you go, I want you to ask yourself, in your capstone project, or maybe your next big production app, which trade-off are you going to choose to keep your events flowing? Will you prioritize faster processing to get that snappy user experience? Or will you lock it down with bulletproof reorg safety? Something to think about. I'll see you in the next explainer.